holding the Osmo. I'm going to actually have it flipped so that in my hope, like you get the whole thing, and I don't have to hold it because it feels kind of constraining. So this is gonna be a long one. So I'll be a coffee ready. You're all cuddled up in a blanket, and you have time to listen. There might be a guest today. We're babysitting Maggie, which is Joshua's cat, our oldest child, who is a grown, he's not a child, he's a grown man. Don't eat my plants, Maggie. But if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Vivi and I'm the host of Within University. And I just had something really cool pop up, and I have some notes that I'm probably going to refer to. It was sort of an insight, like an aha moment. I don't know if you can't tell, I'm a little excited, so I gotta chill out, gotta settle myself down. So, it's really interesting because I've been at this for 5 years, and I really just took a leap from the instruction that I felt that I got. If you don't know, I had a near-death experience, and I had sort of an epiphany happen, a set of instructions. What you see back here, Love.Being.Human. I had just gotten to the other side of a really dark tunnel, and I felt a shift and an expansion and opening in me that literally enlivened my spirit, and it made it almost heaven on earth. So there's Saint, who is she? Catherine of Siena says, "It's heaven all the way to heaven." I believe that we can have that. You can love being human, and there's a lot of intricacies about this design, about the casing, the body, this magnificent miracle. But once we understand how it works, we can utilize that to help us move forward and get unstuck. So I have been doing, I'm a lifelong learner, and you probably are too if you're listening to me. But I've had some recent reflections that I've just this morning made a really deep connection. So I've been trying to find the the common denominators in the people that I serve. That is not your scratching pad, Maggie. We're going to have a battle here. So I've been trying to find the common denominators in the beautiful women that I serve. They are from one side of the country to the other. I do have wonderful, lovely souls in other countries, but engaged within university and in our creative tension experiences, which this quarter is the Art of Possibility Book Club. They all happen to be in the United States, the largest cities that we have, from one coast to the other. So I haven't really found anything that's common across everyone. I have one distinct knowing that I know. If you can see me, then you have all of your needs met. Yeah. But there's lots of wants that we want. And you might have all those too, because it's a pretty good life. I mean, we live better than kings lived hundreds of years ago. We don't, toil from sunrise to sunset to grow our own food. We get to go to the grocery store for that. We drive in cars. We experience a community that's beyond the 10-mile radius. There are a lot of limitations in previous generations. We have literally the world at our fingertips through the internet. So here's what I have. I have 3 things that I think are common across my community. And if you're listening to this and it stirs a space in your heart, in your soul, then I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that we can stay in touch. And I can do my best to earn your trust so that eventually maybe you can join us on one of those learning adventures when you're ready. So you have what you need, but you don't have what you want. And if you're with me, what you want, whether it's conscious or unconscious, is more meaning. And so there are 3 caveats of that I found that are common. So you might feel, she's eating my cleanse. actually think they might be dangerous. You might feel like you need to know the answer before you raise your hand. So it happens kind of like this. I'm sitting in class because I've been taught in a normal education in the United States, and I don't raise my hand until I think I know the right answer. Because the way that we've been culturalized, and I really hope this is going, I didn't check it. I'm going to trust that it is. There's a teacher at the front of the room who knows the right answers and is going to give me a grade on whether or not she thinks that I'm giving her the right answer. So, you might feel like you need to raise your hand before you know the right answer. I follow a very, I follow the thought leadership of Seth Godin, who actually says that it's more like buzzer management. So if there's a game I can't think of right now, but you push the buzzer and then you give the right answer. And what they figured out is that in the process of moving to push the buzzer, that person comes up with the right answer. So they actually don't follow that process. And that's what my people do. And we had this inside at our last book club, there's a posture of, I don't know yet. So what that says to me, and the group came up with this, I didn't come up with it, so I believe that this is a common denominator in my people. I don't know. So first that shows me that there's an okay with not knowing. I really hope those aren't bad for her. I think they might be. You are going to have to not eat that, okay? So, we're going to try to contain Maggie while I teach, which might not work. Okay, so I don't know, but they added this word at the end, yet, which is beautiful because it says to me there's a belief there, there's a faith, there's a trust that knowing will happen. And I'm going to have a lot more to say at the end of this about that. So if you want to move from being the kind of person who waits to raise their hand until they know they have the right answer, to where my people are, which is a sort of resting in the unknowing, resting in the mystery, resting in that darkness that really isn't that scary. But it is scary. And move towards a posture that says, I don't know yet, which says, I trust that I will know, and I'm going to do the work that it takes to get there. And I wanted to do that in a community of other people who are moving towards this, moving in the same direction. This is beautiful for me because I really didn't see this. A lot of what I do happens, the awareness of it happens after the fact. So what I'll actually do with this is listen to what I've said and then try to understand it a little bit more. That's my process. So the second thing is, if you're the kind of person who feels like you need to be first, like you want to be seen as one of the cool kids, but that's not really getting it for you, you've been there, done that, which is my story. I got all the check marks on everything that society said was going to make me happy. And then I got pretty pissed off and felt a little Catholic guilt that I looked back and said, I'm still not happy with what's wrong with me. And it was for me that I was looking towards the values of society and of the broad culture rather than aligning my life and my living with my own internal values, which is where I am now. I can tell you with full confidence and genuine transparency that I live aligned with my values, both in every part of my life. And I'm still striving or aspiring, because the striving was the old me. I'm aspiring to just unfold who I am, who I was when I was a little girl, and when my cousins came over, I would teach them to play a new game. And then it seems to be what I'm doing in this life, is teaching people to play the infinite game. And it might be a game where they don't know, the rules yet. And the cool thing is that there are no rules. You make the rules up, because nobody's the boss of you, but you. And I'm going to attribute that to my beautiful sister who said that. you're not the boss of me. She said that to me because I'm the oldest. And I really admire that sense of sort of standing in her power. So, if you want to be the boss of you, and recognize that this isn't a race, it's actually a process that has to happen, then you're probably a good fit for the community. But again, just subscribe to the channel so that we can stay in touch and I can earn your trust. So what's interesting about this, and I mentioned this in the first point, that inside of this process of creating, it's kind of messy and scary. And so what we do within university and in these these experiences that either 30 or 90 days is we see a different way. So the note that I made that I'm trying to refer to that is taking me off my train of thought is that don't avoid the darkness, allow it. And my favorite metaphor lately is the seed. So if you have a seed out in the open, it's never going to be what it's meant to be. It's never going to realize its full potential because it is not planted. So when you plant the seed, you actually plant it under the earth in darkness where you can't see what's happening. And that's the same way that this type of transformation happens. It is invisible. It is under the skin, in your heart and soul. And it takes a lot of nurturing of the soil, which is patience, kindness, and compassion towards yourself, as you're moving through this threshold, growing the roots that will allow you to then rise. So we hear a lot, or at least I do a lot in the media about rising, but there's a whole, it's kind of an 80-20 principle. 80% of the growth happens under the earth, and then you see the rise. So my process is 80% underground, in your heart, tilling the earth of your soil. So this third piece is I iron my shirt for you, and that is my iron telling me that it needs attention. So this third piece, if you're the to get it right. If you are waiting or wanting someone to give you the right answer, but you know that that's not. So if that's who you are, but you're moving towards recognizing that there really is no one right way. You're actually moving towards recognizing that your choices are not either or. They're not, if I have this, then I don't have that. You're actually seeing maybe some evidence where you can make a choice that serves you at your core, and doesn't take away from the other person, or the organization, or your boss, or whoever. You find that you can see the path under the path, and then choose the third path, which is one that sort of bubbles up. It is the opportunity, is the possibility that is beautiful. So, you want to get it right, but that's hard, because there is no one right. So, what happens is you mirror. And my clients, either one-on-one or in one-to-many in group settings. And this is what creates the growing. If the metaphor of the seed puts it in the earth, the growing that happens isn't the water. So for the seed, it's the water and the nutrients in the soil. For us as human beings, it is that friction between each other that informs you. The conversations, the dialogue that mirrors what seems to be wanting your attention, that is what grows you. So, here's the thing that I spoke probably for 10 or 15 minutes about to get to here. This is natural. This is the way it's supposed to be. If you look at nature, what you see is a rose that wants to bloom. What you see is just this life force that is asking us to expand, to grow. There's nothing wrong with it. I know stuck is, I thought thought that I was being ungrateful, that I was being all these things that are just not good because I wanted more. I thought I was being selfish. But it's natural. And your more doesn't mean that somebody else gets less. So, don't trust me on that. Experiment with it. That's what my ladies do in our groups. And you should do so that you can trust your own knowing. Because that's the whole process. There's not a good teacher or a teacher at the front of the room that is telling you what to do, because you're earthing and nurturing your own soul and then bringing forth your spirit, which is my final point. I'm almost done, Mikey. Come here. So, this spiritual evolve in the Old Testament was called Ruach. I probably am not saying that right, but it is the breath of God. In Chinese philosophy, it is Qi. In Indian philosophy, it is Prana. It's been around for a really long time. It's not new. It's not new to our way of living. It's not new to our way of life. It is not new to the broader culture. So it's not wrong. There is no right or wrong around this. That's my blue hair. Fascinates me. These are the three things that I joined you today to share. And again, I'm encouraging you to subscribe to this YouTube channel if it is of interest to you, if it stirred your heart, if it is a direction that you have a sense that you'd like to go in. Happy Saturday morning. Happy New Year. We're off to celebrate, and I'm so excited that I had an opportunity to share some of it